Hola, hello, welcome to the 4th Beast International Film Festival. I am part of the team of the festival Bohdan Zhuk, and as part of the program that is happening online, unfortunately, only this year, we have Visegrad Film Hub, the program of films from the Visegrad 4 countries, which are, if you don't know, Poland, Slovakia, Czechia, and Hungary. And today I am very glad to have with us Marko Škop, the director of Let There Be Light, and also the producer and writer of the film. Welcome, Marko. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
We'll talk about your film. I want to ask you first about your transition from documentary to fiction, because you've made a few documentaries before and then you switched to fiction. This is your second fictional feature film. Well, you've earlier said, if I remember correctly, that fiction allows for a more safer space to look at the subjects that are of interest for you, and also they don't put the protagonists of the actual people at risk. So my question is, in this particular film, whether there was some inspiration from real life for this, and maybe from your previous documentary work.
So honestly, I don't see a big difference between the documentary filmmaking and the fiction approach to the story. Of course, there is one of the purest methods how to approach reality in the documentary filmmaking, which is reportage. But you can also create reportage in the fiction film if you want to model it. Of course, the sparkle of the authenticity is not there, it's created, but this is probably the most different approach that comes from documentary film. When I was preparing my fiction feature debut, I came to the point that if I would like to show real people in it with their authentic lives, authentic backgrounds, it might hurt them in the reality, because after the film is finished, they are living in their social surroundings, their life again. Mm-hmm. So I have decided, if I wanted to touch the core, to model the characters in the fiction. And it made me more free, as you have said.
And in the case of Let There Be Light, was there any particular inspiration from real life for you?
Sure. I was making a research among the guest workers living in the remote regions of Slovakia who are working abroad. And I was making a research of their family constellations. There was particularly one family of my friend. I have visited him in his home in the village of Krušetnica, which is in the region of Orava. And I have seen in his bedroom, this militaria collection. It was the very direct and concrete inspiration for the film, for example.
And the issue of migrant workers, is that a big issue, the labor migration and its effects on the society?
It's reality in the Central and the Eastern European countries for decades already. Not in Bratislava or in the region around Bratislava, which is very quickly developing also economically. Mm-hmm. And the wages there are, pretty high. But if you are living in the remote area, there are not so many working possibilities, and especially salaries are really much lower. So many people decide to go to work abroad. Women mostly, for example, they work as carers in Austria, because Austria is a neighboring country with Slovakia. And men are going more to the west.
Mm-hmm.
What's also the inspiration from real life is the existence of the paramilitary groups. It's a movement existing in Slovakia already for some time. And because they want the visibility, they want the media coverage, they are also quite seen in the media, in the public. This political social phenomena intrigued me from the very beginning, and I wanted to put this important line and my commentary to it, to the film.
Yes, I was about to ask you about this, about the ultranationalism and the paramilitary groups, but you also connect them with the church. Is that the case in Slovakia as well?
Slovakia, during the Second World War, was a puppet state of the Nazi Germany. And the president of this puppet state was a Catholic priest. And there is still some sentiment towards the state among, I would say, nationalistically orientated co-fellows in Slovakia. They are in the minority, but it's here and it's also visible. And there are also some priests who look back at this, I would say, regime, with adoration, and such a kind of a priest I have modeled for the film.
Mm-hmm. And your film is quite critical of the church, but at the same time, it's very rooted in Christianity and the concept of forgiveness in particular. And so my question is whether you're saying that church is corrupt and not performing its functions, or whether you are critical of the religion itself.
I don't see my film as a critic of the religion. I really very much appreciate people who are religious, who are sincere in their faith. What I'm very critical about is the misuse of the ideology, and it can be misused very easily. So unfortunately, until these days, the officials, the bishops of the Slovak Catholic Church never apologized for their part or their members being part of the nationalistic and fascist movement during the Second World War. Mm-hmm. This never happened. It was never made this line. And I was hoping that also my film can bring more discussion and more light into this field.
And connected with this is also the issue of homophobia that you touch upon a little bit. But so in the film, when the parents of the boy who killed himself actually visit the family of the main character and ask Adam whether he is gay, he denies it, but you can help question whether that's true. And then you don't choose to go further with this. So why did you do it like this?
I'm not sure if I understood your point correctly, but in every conservative society, and especially if you are living in a small village, it's conservative. We are living in this imaginary order of our ancestors, which is being close to the others, being close to the otherness. And homophobia, we see it's recently quite on the rise, especially in the Central and Eastern Europe. Mm-hmm. Look at what's happening in Poland.
Yeah.
People being banned from going to restaurants or bars. I think it's really horrifying in the second millennium after Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And also talking about this very traditional orders, well, we see what I understand as a crisis of masculinity in your main character in Milan, because he's trying very hard to not be like his father, but eventually he fails being violent toward his son. So yeah, is this also your commentary on the crisis of masculinity and the patriarchal, conservative and repressive society?
When I was mentioning the imaginary or symbolical order of societies, we've been living in it, for ages like that. In our culture, we are living in the patriarchal system. Although the phenomena which Sigmund Freud has called the Oedipa complex is eternal, I mean, we will never escape out of it. I see there is a change in this movement, in this discourse, that the way how my grandfather and my father was raising my father, and the way how my father was raising me is a little bit different. And I'm trying to move this discourse towards my child. So it's changing, but it's changing slowly, because these orders within us, within our identities, are so much strong, so that it's not easy to change them, but it's happening. And this is what I wanted to show in my film, that the main character, Milan, wants to be different as his father. He wants to approach the upbringing of his children differently, but he makes mistakes.
Yeah,
he's not with them. He would like to provide to them the best what he thinks would be for them, especially the education, and he needs money for that. This is what he thinks, but he is not with them. He is not present, and this is the biggest mistake.
But at the same time, he's quite idealistic, and yeah, I guess he lives with an illusion that everything is fine and he's taking care of the family by providing money.
Yeah, it's actually very general human mistake that all of us, we have our blind spots where we don't see. We have good intentions, but unfortunately, we don't see what's important many times.
And the same, I suppose, continuing about what you say, the very traditional orders and the way things are, the same concerns women and the same way they are depicted in your film, I understand, because the scene with the little daughter pretending to be a dog is a very metaphorical one, and then the wife is also reproached by the father of Milan. So yeah, I guess that's the same situation there.
It's a picture of a conservative small village where the woman, her biggest fear is to be threatened by the others, what the others will think, what they didn't do to us. She wants security for her family at the first place. And bullying, not only among children, is, phenomena of the aggression. When we feel it inside, we have to give it out, and to hurt or inflict the pain on the weaker ones is the most easy point. This is also happening in this paramilitary group. When you want to show your power in the hierarchy of power within the group, you find the weak point, a boy who is weaker than the others, and you show off, you bully him. This is happening, I think, in every hierarchy which is based on power.
Yeah, but didn't you want the female character to sort of break out of this and rebel against it?
I made some little turning points when she is the one who says, let's go to the priest. There is this breaking point when what she does is this cheese. It's also how she makes money. It's her world where she realizes herself. She is the one who says, let's go to solve it. But when they are in the room with the priest, it's the man who takes the action. This is how I see the reality. So,
Okay. Well, I think that's it on the part of questions for me. keeping it short. Yeah, thank you very much, Marko, for joining us.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I wish you a great edition of the festival, although it's online. I wish you a lot of viewers, and my greetings to all the team.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that was our Beast Dogs with Marko Škop, director and producer and writer of Let There Be Light, which is screening as part of our program Visegrad Film Hub. This is 4th Beast International Film Festival. Join us for more talks and, of course, watch the films.